to Neil Shastri-Hurst.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it's a pleasure to follow so many excellent maiden speeches this afternoon. The budget marks a seminal moment in the parliamentary calendar. Irrespective of party politics, there is a collective desire that any budget provides the foundations for our great nation to succeed. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, my constituency of Solihull West and Shirley, with its range and breadth of businesses, is an important economic driver for the West Midlands. Having sat down with 17 business leaders last Friday and having visited multiple businesses in the lead-up of the budget, it is important that I convey their balanced and market-led view. Businesses look for stability, Madam Deputy Speaker. They want to understand a government's growth and economic plan for an industrial strategy. However, as one CEO described it, the budget represents private industry versus public sector, employer against employee. One cannot have well-funded public services, Madam Deputy Speaker, if there is no private industry to pay for them. One cannot have high employment, Madam Deputy Speaker, if there are no private businesses to spur job creation. One cannot have economic growth, Madam Deputy Speaker, if private investment is driven out of this country. This budget has brought businesses more complexity and more uncertainty. And as a consequence of last Wednesday, businesses in my constituency have already announced recruitment freezes. By now, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Chancellor will have received my letter sent yesterday and signed by approximately 40 members of this House and the other place regarding the impact of her new NICS policy on general practitioners, dentists, hospices and care homes. These are vital services, Madam Deputy Speaker, who will be forced to decrease staff numbers, thereby creating further pressures on the NHS and public services. I will give way.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend, they don't like to hear it, but not while an intervention's happening, I don't think, but every Labour government in history has always ended with higher unemployment than it began, and it looks from these measures that this one will be exactly the same. Does my honourable friend agree?
While the honourable gentleman will be very grateful, I'm sure, for the intervention, can I just remind members that time is tight?
I'm very grateful for my honourable friend's intervention, and I agree with him entirely. I'm mindful of the tightness of time. Much as the Chancellor has with VAT on continuity of education allowance payments, will the Chancellor reconsider the exemption list to protect these vital services? We all understand how much money the Chancellor hopes to raise, but I ask today that the Chancellor sets out a plan to realistically raise this money. What is the Chancellor's plan to grow the economy? Currently, GDP growth predictions are lower than inflation rise predictions, effectively shrinking the economy over the next 5 years. And finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, I ask the Minister to set a firm date for when the Government will publish its industrial strategy so that businesses can have stability rather than being on the receiving end of the Chancellor's smash and grab tax raid.
White.